for what he described as bad faith in the petition to recall the House.
For instance, frequent recalls can disrupt planned legislative annual budgets and workflow, drain national resources, and affect the overall productivity of Parliament. Honorable members, I invite members to, at the appropriate time, deliberate on this matter.
Key among the issues discussed was the outstanding request for the approval of tax waivers for some 42 companies under the One District, One Factory. The minority maintained their position on the bill and argued they would not support it.
That these tax exemptions are not in the best interest of the ordinary Ghanaian. Our position has always been and still remains that they should convert these tax exemptions into tax credit and otherwise maybe linked these tax exemptions into equity shares as stipulated in the Tax Exemptions Act. We will not support a giveaway of $350 million to crony businesses in a very opaque and untransparent manner.
Majority Leader Afenyo Markin said the minority's opposition was not backed by any law.
But to say that tax exemptions are being given to crony companies and businesses, Mr. Speaker, to say the least, is not backed by any fact.
The House also discussed the menace of galamsey in the country, with some MPs making very wild comments.
Particularly in Mansia, where the running mate of MPP is coming from.
If we are to look and investigate, you polluted the water more than us. You polluted the water more than us.
The House also approved the Energy Sector Recovery Levy. The House also approved the Energy Sector Recovery Loan and relayed a reviewed LI on sirens and speed limit, but failed to approve tax waivers. The minority side argued that the two-day sitting was unnecessary and a waste of time for parliamentary candidates who had less than 100 days to campaign for the election.
Let's take a look at some of the government business that were supposed to have been discussed in Parliament before the House was adjourned, and also to look at what the House was able to achieve as at yesterday. Okay, so there was a motion on financing agreement between the government of Ghana and the International Development Association for an amount of $250 million US dollars for the energy sector recovery program. And also there was a request for tax exemptions for the designated beneficiaries under the One District, One Factory program. Also, the Ghana Financial Stability Fund, an International Development Association facility of $250 million US dollars, was also supposed to be approved. Now let's take a look at some of the bills that were supposed to have been discussed in Parliament. So we had the Budget Bill 2023 and also the Rent Bill 2023. We also had the University of Local Governance and Development Bill, which was laid this year, 2024. We also have the Environmental Protection Bill 2024, the Social Protection Bill 2024, the Interstate Succession Bill 2022, the Chartered Institute of Reconstruction and Insolvency Practitioners Bill 2023. Also, we also had the Ghana Industrial Property Office Bill, which was laid in Parliament this year, 2024, and then also the National Petroleum Authority Bill 2024. Now to some energy-related bills which has been approved. That is the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. So the Energy Recovery Sector Program falls under the broader Ghana Energy Sector Transformation Initiative project. A $900 million US dollars World Bank Finance Development Policy was aimed at strengthening the capacity of the energy sector to implement sector reforms and improve energy sector planning and coordination in Ghana. Also, same on the bill, there was a financing agreement between the government of Ghana and the International Development Association of the World Bank Group for an amount of $250 million. Then the third one on the recovery program has to do with the key objectives of the program, primarily focusing on restoring financial viability of the sector, curtailing further accumulation of sector arrears and repayment of outstanding sector arrears by 2023. Then 4, still on the sector recovery program, in 2019, government initiated the implementation of the scheme but failed to meet its targeted objectives by 2023 and was compelled to redesign and extend the implementation period to December 2025. To the fifth one, the new objective under this phase include reducing electricity purchase cost through improved economic distribution. 2, increasing utility revenues and also improving the Electricity Company of Ghana's financial management system. The sixth one has to do with a successful continuation of the implementation of the program which government applied for, and then also the IDA agreed to provide the loan. So still in Parliament, Galamsey has been one of the persistent problems in Ghana, with many campaigning against it for years. Although the consequences of this illegal mining activity are well known, some politicians and citizens still engage in it for personal gain, ignoring the negative impact on the environment and society. As Ghana faces the threat of water security due to the increased pollution of water bodies, there are growing calls for the government to take center stage in the fight against Galamsey once again. However, the question remains whether another government intervention will make any meaningful impact on ending illegal activities in the country, or whether it will add to the long list of failed government interventions. Simon Nimabo has more in this report.
The first official government attempt to uproot the canker was in 1989, following the passage of the Small-Scale Mining Law, PNDC LI 218, and the deployment of military to deal with illegal miners. Despite the double measures, Galamsey activities persisted and worsened in 2006, prompting the J.A. Kufuor administration to introduce another military intervention called Operation Flashout. Operation Flashout brought calm, but for a temporary period. Soon after, Galamsey activities saw the involvement of heavy machinery and foreign nationals, especially Chinese migrants, which exacerbated the issue. The government in return commissioned a 5-member interministerial task force to clamp down on illegal minings in 2013. Like other measures, the interministerial task force could not end the menace. In 2017, the media launched a coalition against Galamsey following successive government failure to end the canker. This necessitated government's intervention, beginning with a bold promise from President Nana Akufo-Addo.
I've said it in the cabinet, and perhaps it's the first time I'll be saying it in public. I am prepared to put my president on this matter. I've heard it being said that I should be careful. Many of these people voted for me, and if I continue this exercise, perhaps they will not vote for me again. If by the grace of God I'm in a position, my party allows me to go again, and I have the health and everything to go again, that I'll not get it again. And I'll say to myself, well, this is a choice that all of us have to make as human beings. You do what you think is right, or do you do what you think will allow you to get along? I think that you do what you think is right. That is what you're required to do.
The president followed the promise with the establishment of Operation Vanguard, a joint military police task force comprising 400 servicemen from the military and police service to end small-scale illegal mining. However, political interference hindered the success of the task force. Amid scandals of bribery and corruption, the president disbanded Operation Vanguard and authorized another military operation, Operation Halt 2, in 2021. Following the work of Operation Halt 2, the government launched the National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Program to ensure responsible, viable, and sustainable community mining in illegal mining communities. 3 years down the lane, water bodies have turned muddy once more. The Ghana Water Company has cut supply to communities around the mining site by 30% and has warned of dire consequences should galamsey activities in water bodies persist. Some experts have warned that the country may begin to import water by 2030 should galamsey activities not stop. With all these measures already implemented and failed, what more should be done? One thing is key: the fight against galamsey should be one without political colorization, one without favoritism, one with ruthless determination and political willingness to arrest and prosecute all perpetrators irrespective of political affiliation. Until then, the country will continue to bear the dire consequences of galamsey activities. Samuel Nyimabu, ABC News.
Still in Parliament, the Road and Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024 legal instrument, which will grant privileges to certain state officials and institutions to use sirens on their vehicles and motorcades, has been relayed in Parliament. The instrument, if passed, will now allow the President, the Vice President, as well as the Ghana Police Service and the National Fire Service and the Ambulance Service to use warning equipment during emergencies. The amended instrument will, however, not permit the Speaker of Parliament, the Chief Justice, Ministers of State, and Members of Parliament to use motorcade or sirens for official duties. The relaying of the bill sparked intense debate in Parliament, with both MPs and the Speaker agreed for their exclusion.
The controversial legislative instrument, which sought to allow MPs, ministers, the Chief Justice, and Security Service the opportunity to use sirens during emergencies, was relayed to Parliament on the second day of the emergency sitting. However, the reviewed bill generated controversies as it excluded the Speaker, ministers, and MPs from using sirens. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, reacting to the reviewed bill, called on MPs to be bold in their passage of bills and seek their interests as well.
You must be prepared to take responsibility and defend your positions. If the people knew like you, they wouldn't have elected you to lead them. So they expect you to lead them and be able to persuade them that you are doing so in their interest. Me sitting here, I'm just a passing wind, like any other person who will come and sit as Speaker. It's not about the personality. It's about the responsibilities that that position goes with.
Kennedy Ohinia Japan also bemoaned that parliamentarians are not treated well in the country, as people expect them to serve the public without having to enjoy some privileges.
Of the public, and anything the government needs, they will first come to Parliament. For a whole Speaker to say that he cannot even enjoy a motorcade, who is Kennedy Japan, who went to Senate and enjoyed motorcade under President Kufuor's administration? We must be bold and speak the truth. Every money this country needs, it has to go through Parliament. But the society belittles us as if we are what? Servants to them. Although we are servants to them, we also have to enjoy rights. I want you guys to be bold.
Tamale South NP Haruna Idrisu decried the unfair exclusion of the Speaker of Parliament and the Chief Justice from using sirens on public roads.
You can keep ministers and members of Parliament out, but this republic has three important personalities: the President, the Vice President, the Speaker, and the Chief Justice. Four important personalities. And Mr. Speaker, it is not for this House to sit for a minister. Yes, MPs. There will even be times that, Mr. Speaker, leadership is here. When you have to take a major vote, you are looking for a member who is still in his constituency in Kaswa. You want his vote here. because you want him to exercise a mandate. That is not abuse of a motorcade or a police siren. So, Mr. Speaker, mine was to arrest the laying of this instrument if I had my way.
The House is expected to debate on the bill further in its subsequent sitting.
Still in Parliament, but this time around, let's go back to the Galamsey story. We have been joined on the line by technical specialist of WASH at World Vision, Yao Ata Ahin, for an interaction on it, because there was a discussion of the subject matter in Parliament yesterday. MPs having to call each other who did worse and then who did what to our water bodies. We have him on the line for further engagement. Hello, Mr. Ahin. Good afternoon and welcome to ABC News Ghana.
Hello, I can hear you, but your line is very, very faint. I barely can hear anything.
Hello, Mr. Ahin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for having you. Please, we want to engage you on the state of the status of Galamsey in the country now. We believe that there have been several fights, coalition, and dialogues and issues about it. Even yesterday, the Lands Minister called for an emergency meeting to engage stakeholders on the way forward. As a specialist, what do you think that can be done to curtail this menace?
All right, thank you very much. First of all, let me indicate that this is not a difficult fight if we mean to fight it. I mean, if we want to fight Galamsey, for me, it shouldn't be too difficult. Because, you see, government has the power. Government has resources in terms of funding. Government has human resource in terms of men and women. For me, the only one thing that government doesn't have is the will to ensure that we win this fight. I mean, that is all. That is the bottom line. Because come to think of it, how can government with all these state apparatus sit down for people to so pollute our lands, our forests, our water bodies this way, and then we sit down as if we can't do anything? I think that government must begin to master the will. Get the will. Because for me, citizens are behind government in this fight. And there's no way government will lose if all of us are supporting and government decides to do it. The impunity is getting too much. I mean, you go around the country and everywhere, people are busily doing Galamsey, polluting our water bodies. And now we can't even have water to drink. We have to ration the water. The impunity is too much. And I think that the earlier government decided to do something, the better it will be for all of us.
Okay, Mr. Aini, if I heard it clearly, so is that to say that all the interventions government put in place in the fight against the Galamsey have been futile?
Well, if you ask me, I don't think any intervention has yielded any fruitful results over the years. And over the years, we just decide to do something, and then in the end, we don't accomplish it. I mean, look at all the Galamseys and all those names, acronyms, with the military, with resources, and all that. It didn't yield anything, the burning of excavators, and all that. For me, we couldn't sustain the fight. And I think that it is not lost yet. If we want to do it, we should be able to do it. Look, when water is polluted this way, drinking water is affected. No wonder now Ghana Water Company cannot even, treat the water to distribute to our homes adequately. Those who are doing fishing are affected. Fishmongers are affected. Now you go to fishing, the fishes are dying because of the excessive pollution of these water bodies. The farming activities are suffering, are great, because you are using polluted water even for irrigation activities. And you don't even have enough to do it. The land for farming is affected. And the health risks associated with it, so much. The microbial contamination, the chemical contamination, is something that we should be worried about. But I think that going forward, as I've said, number one, government must have the will the will to fight this and win the battle. Prioritize the fight against Galamsey in order to be able to protect and preserve our water bodies, because that is what gives us our life and our source of livelihoods. The second thing is for us to strengthen the institutions mandated to manage our water resources, particularly Water Resources Commission and the Environmental Protection Agency and the likes. We talk about community mining programs and all that. For me, when you say community mining program, it's just an English version of Galamsey. It's the same Galamsey that we are allowing people to do in the name of community mining. And look, nothing can compensate these people who engage in Galamsey. There's no livelihood that you provide for them that can compensate it. And so the only option for us is to stop it. Stop it. And then let's preserve our water bodies. Going forward, let's declare a state of emergency. And then declare these water facilities, water bodies, as security installations where nobody goes near. Elsewhere, that is what we've done and succeeded. And I don't know why we cannot do this. All citizens should rise up and support the effort to end Galamsey, because it is going to be detrimental for us in the long term.
Okay, Mr. Ayin, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We'll come to you.
My pleasure.
If something should come up. Thanks for your time. Moving on to some election-related stories. The National Democratic Congress is demanding a live broadcast of its meeting with the Electoral Commission slated for Friday, 6 September 2024, to discuss findings and observations contained in the Provisional Voters Register (PVR) for the upcoming December 7 elections. The General Secretary of the party, Fifi Fiavi Kweti, in a letter to the EC said a live broadcast of the meeting will ensure transparency of the engagement. A letter that was similar to this was written on Tuesday, August 27th, demanding an arrangement of this said meeting. NDC said is meant to discuss various discrepancies discovered during the ongoing 2024 voter exhibition exercise. We will be speaking to the NDC Deputy Director of Elections, Mahdi Jibril, on this. Hello, Mr. Jibril. Please, if you can hear me, welcome to ABC News Ghana, Midday News Bulletin. Mr. Jibril, we understand that you are requesting the EC for a live broadcast of the meeting to be held tomorrow. Mr. Jibril. Mr. Jibril, please, can you hear me? Good afternoon. Okay, so there was a similar letter that was written to the Electoral Commission on the 27th of August, just last month, requesting a similar meeting with the Electoral Commission on some discrepancies, some gaps, the voter exhibition exercises, and any other thing, all the matters that relates to the general elections at their IPAC meetings, the meetings that they've had, the discussions that have gone there, the missing BVR machines, man that was in the northern part of the country and all that. Just last week, the Deputy EC Chair, Dr. Bosman Asari, engaged the media on some of the alleged allegations and the gaps that the NDC identified with the voters register, especially during the exhibition exercise. According to the Electoral Commission, yes, they have found gap to a certain level, but not to the extent that the National Democratic Congress is alleged. However, they are ready and they are doors to engage the various political parties to ensure that there's free, fair, and credible election come December 7th election. We're trying to get Mr. Mahdi Jibril. Hello, Mahdi, please, if you can hear me, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Okay, thanks for having you.
You're welcome.
Please, we understand that you have written a letter to the Electoral Commission requesting for a live broadcast. The question now is that can't this be done in a closed-door meeting, just as you normally do with the IPAC discussions, to resolve these discrepancies?
I'm happy you said IPAC meeting. IPAC meeting, because it's a usual continual meeting. That's why we don't telecast it live. But this is a request by the NDC, who have raised issue on the register that we are going to use for 2024 elections. No any other political party have raised issue on that, meaning that the register that the Electoral Commission gave us, maybe it is ours that has issues as against what the Electoral Commission has. And we don't want to come out of the meeting where when we are reporting something, the Electoral Commission also come to say something else. We will not have the conclusion of the issue. So for the sake of transparency, that's why we are requesting for a live broadcast of the meeting.
Okay, Mr. Jibril. So in case your request is not granted, what will the NDC? What would you do?
As of now, we have been given the opportunity to meet the Electoral Commission tomorrow. Let's get to the point where they said they have not given us the opportunity. But what we know, the Electoral Commission has always said that they always work with the transparency. If they are refusing which issue that will bring transparency, then we all see what will happen on that one. But I believe that since they say they will work, they are always open and they want the public to know. We are only helping them if the telecast is live. The public will know better of what is going to happen. We may be right, we may be wrong, but at the end of the day, we want to have the conclusion of the issue. That's why we are asking for the live telecast.
Mr. Mahdi, to have a conclusion on the issue, this is, somebody will say, it is a minor issue that can be resolved amicably. A live broadcast, it will be like going to the Supreme Court, like what we witnessed during the 2016 elections.
Are you saying that what happened in Pusiga, where somebody sat in his room to transfer a voter without his knowledge, which can happen to you and anybody which you have not gotten to the root of the cause yet, and other issues that will come are minor issues?
However, I can also say that the Electoral Commission have been able to, the gentleman has been arrested, and they have ensured that, promised and pledged that they will ensure that investigations are done to its level.
Who said we are coming?
That one alone is enough.
We are not coming back on the same issue of the Pusiga issue. Let me tell you something. You see, when they come to exhibition, it is what you raise, what the EC can correct. So they are only corrected the Pusiga issue. How about the rest that you have not raised, which they don't know yet?
Okay, thank you so much. We are hoping that the EC will grant your request. Okay, to some related election stories. The CPP, the Convention People's Party, they have elected Nana Frimpong Kumankuma as its presidential candidate for the upcoming December 7 general elections. The elections held across all 16 regions concluded at 3 p.m. The Electoral Commission subsequently declared Nana Frimpong Kumankuma as the flag bearer-elect with 763 votes, surpassing her opponent, lawyer and historian Nana Frimpong Anochi, who received 586 votes, out of a total of 1,360 votes cast, and then 11 were rejected. In her victory speech, Nana Frimpong Kumankuma called for unity to ensure success in the 2024 general elections. The defeated contender, Nana Frimpong, has refused to congratulate the winner. Before the elections, lawyer Anochi Frimpong spoke to the media on the repercussions on the party should he lose this bid.
And I can assure you, nobody has ever come out to challenge the law, the history, and all the things that I do on air. So CPP would have to buy into the idea and help me. And the advantage for them is that having them endorse me, for the first time, they will see the CPP winning this election or effectively sending the election to a runoff. And I won't say I will be third on the paper. No, I will be second on the paper. So that MPP or NDC, whichever becomes third, would support me. Then there will be a revolution in the country. On the other hand, if they want those who would go and collect money from a certain big party somewhere, because that party is very apprehensive of Anochi coming to take power from them, they should vote for that person. And then CPP will continue to record zeros.
Joining us on phone is Eric Osei-Boateng, a former Deputy General Secretary of the party, and then a member of the organizing committee of the CPP for further interaction on it. Good afternoon, please. You are welcome to ABC News. Hello, Mr. Boateng. Thank you very much. Okay. All is set the presidential elections. Now the outcome of the election.
Can you amplify your voice a bit?
Boateng, please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, can we now say the CPP is set and ready to win the presidential elections, looking at the outcome of the flag bearership race yesterday?
Yes. The CPP is ready to battle for the governance of this country with the process of electing our flag bearership or flag bearer ending yesterday successfully. The CPP is battle ready to wrestle power from the ruling New Patriotic Party.
Thank you very much. What I want to know is that the winner of the race yesterday, do you think she is capable enough to rival the two major political parties' presidential candidates? We are looking at Dr. Bawumia, we are looking at former President Mahama. Do you think she has the capability, she has what it takes to ensure that CPP can come back to power?
Yes, she is. Nana Akosua Frimpong Sarpong is competent, capable, consistent. In fact, this is not the first time she's come into a realm of the leadership of the party. She has been a running mate to Dr. Abu Sakara Foxter in the 2012 general elections. In 2020, she became our chair and leader, and she has been able to steer the affairs of the party up to this time that we had our presidential primaries. Because she was in the contest, she has to give way for the independent committee to take, the running of the party. And so, looking at the steering leadership of Nana Akosua Frimpong Sarpong, she has all the qualities. She's a woman of courage. She's a woman of vision. She's a woman who actually has, the commitment to, bring socio-economic development to this country. And so, very soon, when we launch our campaign, Ghanaians will begin to see the difference between the Convention People's Party's manifesto and that of the NDC and the NPP. So the Nana Akosua Frimpong has all it takes to lead the Convention People's Party to victory in the 2024 general elections.
Okay, Mr. Boateng, I wanted to ask you your preparation towards the manifesto launch, and then also when we should expect it to be adopted. But before I let you go, I want to know, are there measures to ensure that there are reconciliations to those who have broken away from the party? We have the daughter of the founder, Samia Nkrumah, saying that she's going for an independent position, race. And then also, lawyer Frimpong Anochi, he's also saying that if you don't elect me, which you have not elected him, you continue to record zeros come December 7. What do you have to say about that?
Thank you very much. Sister, every political party, these issues of breakaway is common and is due to the differences in opinion, and sometimes the individuals feel that certain things did not go their way. But we in the Convention People's Party, the leadership are in talks with these personalities and the so-called groups, as you put it, to try to bring all of them on board. The Nkrumah's front is fragmented, so much fragmented. you have the PNC and the other parties, smaller parties that claim to be Nkrumah's. But because of the fragmented front, we are not able to, win elections, or we are not able to record any major gains when we go for general elections. So this time around, before even our primaries, leadership in the Nkrumah is were making efforts to see how the best they can bring the Nkrumah's parties together. So we in the Convention People's Party, we think that it is time that we bring all the Nkrumah's funds together, but that is not maybe to say in this current elections, because now we have elected our flag bearer. But those who feel, that the party did not treat them well due to one thing or the other, what is best known to them, we are making a passionate appeal to them that they should come and then we'll build the party together. Because lawyer Anoche Frimpong is equally capable, competent, well-known the social media landscape. He's a historian. We need him so much. So I think the leadership of the party will reach out to him. Nana Akosua from I know she's a unifier. So reach out to us. I know Samia Yaban Nkrumah, leaderships have been in talk with her to try to rescind her decision to go independent and then run on the ticket of the party, because she has been.
But then I want to know, what if she refuses to come back to the CPP?
Beg your pardon?
I was asking, what if she refuses to come back to the party?
Is it Samia or
yes, please.
Lawyer Nochi?
Yes, Samia Nkrumah.
Oh, I know, that she has the right to go independent. That's why the party cannot prevent her.
Thank you very much.
We think that it will be best that she comes into the family. That is what if his father started.
Thank you so much, Mr. Boatin, for your time. We'll come to you as the campaign activities continues. Now, let's take some break. Let's do some business. Parliament has approved a 250 million loan agreement from the World Bank to support the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. The facility, which was previously disapproved before parliamentary recess, was a key reason for the recall of Parliament for a 2-day emergency sitting. The loan is intended to bolster efforts in stabilizing Ghana's energy sector, addressing long-standing financial challenges, and ensure a reliable supply of electricity to both households and businesses across the country. During the proceedings, the minority initially expressed strong reservations, particularly over a 90 million currency fee embedded within the loan agreement. Despite these objections, the loan facility was ultimately approved, with the majority emphasizing the urgent need for funds to resolve critical issues in the energy sector. Joining us on the line to have a conversation on this story is Mr. Jamfi from ASEP, Charles Jamfi with ASEP, a policy lead on climate change and energy transition at ASEP. Hello, Mr. Jamfi. Good afternoon.
Felt that the report did not actually reflect what was actually conducted.
Hello, Mr. Jamfi. Please, if you can hear me, good afternoon.
We debated it extensively, and there were some further work we have to do.
Can you hear me?
So I'm not aware that we are adopting the report in its current shape, but I'm aware that we are going to do further referral so that this matter can the other committees can continue.
There's a soundbite coming from your end, or is it from my end?
Okay, Mr.
Yes,
please,
Chairman of the committee.
Please, yesterday Parliament
Thank you,
approved
Honourable Speaker.
a 250
It
million
is rather
US dollars for
unfortunate
the energy sector recovery program.
that
This has been long
Elijah
overdue. Or what do you have to say?
I think the ESRP was yes approved somewhere in 2023. The 2023 ESRP came, and there's been a lot of back and forth around what is needed. But I think that even beyond the money that we require, it's a very important need to ensure that the key action items that we provided in the ESRP are fulfilled. I think the energy sector issues goes beyond the loan or the approval that we are even talking about. It's really about how we can sustain the efficiency, especially regarding power distribution. So if we get this approval and we are still not seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel or seeing the kind of efficiencies that we expect, we are still going to keep on updating the ESRP, and it may not, get us anywhere. So for me, it's important to look at how we can ensure that each aspect of the power sector value chain is really doing well, especially for distribution, which is responsible for financial, revenue generation across the sector. So strengthening the sector goes beyond the ESRP. It means that we should let the power sector run as a business, and that is what we are failing to do. And we keep on bringing out these documents and getting a lot of loans and approvals that do not really bring us much, results as far as implementation is concerned. So my take hasn't even got to do with the approval or the issues that came with it. But my take has to do with how we can strengthen the power sector and ensure value for money. Because this, if anything, is going to add up to our debts, and we have to find a way to pay for it. And if it is not running as a business, we will still come back with another third, revision of the ESRP. And we may need another set of, money to do it. But we really need to ensure that the power sector is one of the key spaces that is really draining our finances. And if government doesn't really put their feet forward to ensure that the inefficiencies, the governance systems are curtailed, we will still come back to these problems.
Okay, right. So would you suggest that it should be privatized?
I think we have been advocating for some time around private sector participation, especially in the distribution sector, because over time government hasn't shown a lot of evidence that it can, manage power distribution issues and the financial issues that come with it. And we have advocated that it's high time we looked at the process of bringing in the private sector. I think one of the key issues that we have also highlighted is the fact that whilst the process of obtaining the private sector participants should also be looked at in a very meritorious way to ensure that you get people who are both technically and financially capable to handle the assets that we are talking about. So when we talk of the fact that the private sector should come in, it's not just because you want to get anybody in, but you want to make sure that the process is very sound, that allows people who are both technically and financially sound to really be part of this.
Charles, not to catch you, but was that not the reason why we had the PDS come in to assist? But then look at how it ended.
Yeah, so if you investigate and go through the process, you realize that along the line, the process of selecting the private participant in the PDS discourse was a bit opaque along the line. to a point where a lot of the bigger companies actually had to step out and bringing in the 51% Ghanaian shareholding requirement and the kind of local partners that they were brought. We have not even seen their technical or financial competence to handle, assets of ECG that were worth billions. That is why we're saying that PSP is not necessarily a bad thing, but in the process of getting a private partner, you should focus on getting someone that is both technically and financially capable to do it. I mean, Ghana is not the only country that would have done a private sector participation in its power distribution. There are other examples and other models that we have seen that show that it works. And the recommendation of a PSP was because of a very extensive work that the IFC had done on behalf of the ministry. So that showed that eventually government wasn't in the business of regulating itself as far as power distribution was concerned. And since then, we continue to see lots and lots of inefficiencies that continues to be part of us. And we try to reduce these inefficiencies through tariffs, and government has to step in every now and then, but eventually it comes back to you and I. The effect comes back to you and I. So it is really important that we stress on this matter in ensuring that we have distributional efficiency as far as power sector is concerned.
Thank you so much for your time, Charles. Now to some other local stories. The flag bearer of the NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has rejected claims by the NDC asserting that the District Road Improvement Program, DRIP, was solely his idea. Under this initiative, the government has supplied metropolitan and district assemblies with tools, resources, including excavators and other earth-moving machines needed to enhance road networks across the country. Addressing a deba at the Awubia Festival of the People of Ewutu Breku in the Ewutu Senior District, Dr. Bawumia clarified that Parliament had no role in the proposed implementation on the DRIP.
The Critical Roads Committee, I came up with the idea that we should buy equipment to help every district to construct roads in Ghana. So we were to buy all districts, excavators, rollers, graders, backhoes, tipper trucks, and so on. This was an idea from my committee. It has nothing to do with Parliament. We came up with the idea, we funded that. It didn't go to Parliament for any approval. So nobody should come and claim that they were responsible for all the equipment that we have sent to every district in this country. We are very serious about the development of this country. We have the Critical Roads Committee. I came up with the idea that we should buy equipment to help every.
Still on DRIP. Meanwhile, flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, has urged Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia of the governing NPP to instruct the party's parliamentary candidate to remove their campaign posters from the equipment procured by government for the district improvement program. During a rally in Yeji in the Pru East district in the Bunu East region, John Mahama pointed out that the DRIP project is funded by taxpayers and should not be used for political promotions. He stressed that equipment distributed under the project belongs to all Ghanaians, not just the NPP.
Make us say, Meba, Elfidia, ya Yesika Yadiato. A grader, payloader, and sa Elfidia Yadia ya Ghana yeto and Yadiato. Yadiama, Achiachama district bia. Meba mi who said Bakujina Kwemu. Parliamentary candidate or MPP, ordinary poster bosso. And yan if you dear, Ghana for Fidi. And you no cover by. 2 year tour and no toy.
enti saa machines no yɛmfa mma sɛ yɛbɛyɛ politics yɛde baa sɛ yɛbɛyi akwan na yɛbie kwan ama obi atumi afa so ɛnyɛ parliamentary candidate biara na de bae enti wo sɛ party flag bi bɔ so anaasɛ candidate poster bi ɛtare ho a wode why poster ne fi so ɛnso ɛza sɛ mfidie no mpo nneɛma tere sɛ ɔmo ntua nwieɛ enti nea aka no ndc aban na bɛba bɛtua enti obiara ni kwan sɛ ɔde ne poster na ne flag ɛbɛtare saa ma.
Away from politics, let's do some education stories. The family of Edward Saki is demanding for justice after the tragic loss of their child. Edward Saki, who was an 18-year final year student of O'Reilly Senior High School in Accra, was stabbed to death following a dispute between himself and then a colleague in the school. My colleague, Ebenezer Parker, has more in this report.
For the Saki family, life has come to a standstill. The gruesome death of their child, Edward Saki, has thrown them into a state of grief and despair. Edward, who was an 18-year-old final year student of O'Reilly Senior High School in Accra, was allegedly stabbed to death following a dispute with a colleague at the school. For the family, the pain is unimaginable as they grapple to come to terms with the loss of their child. Mariam, sister to the deceased, simply couldn't hold back her pain in recollecting fond memories of Edward.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. That will come to me only you do the tax for me, I'll pay you later. If Edward is going somewhere in the corridor, Edward come and let me say me. Edward will ignore anything that he will do, he will attend to you. That's why I can answer about my life.
The family, now faced with the difficult task of navigating their grief, is demanding justice for the loss of their son. Enoch Saki, who is the father of the deceased, says this injustice must be dealt with squarely by the laws.
Up to this, I want a justice for my son. I want everything to be the law to take his part, and then I want justice for my son. So what I mean is, I think if somebody commits murder, I think we have a law in Ghana where you commit murder, the punishment is supposed to face. That is what I'm saying, justice. Yeah.
Commiserating with the Saki family, government authorities, including the Ghana Education Service and Ghana Police Service, called for calm and offered assurances to deliver a thorough investigation into the incident within the next 2 weeks. Municipal Chief Executive of Lejokuku, Mordecai Kwashi, firmly stated that his outfit will ensure that justice is served.
And we have lost our sons in that way. But I'll plead with you once more to take heart. Finally, we will know what happened. And justice will surely serve. Please, that is an assurance I want from you.
As the family continues to grieve their child, hopes are that justice will be served to them.
Now to sports. Black Stars will face Angola in a crucial AFCON 2025 qualifier today at the Babaya Sports Stadium in Kumasi. The team concluded their final session on Wednesday, September 4, 2024. Coach Otto Addo's squad is in excellent shape, except for Elisha Owusu, who may miss the game due to injury. The Black Stars are highly motivated to secure a key victory in their quest for AFCON qualification. The match kicks off at 4 o'clock today with the Black Stars aiming to make a strong start to their qualification journey. Meanwhile, other AFCON qualification matches played yesterday saw Sudan claiming a 1-0 victory against Niger in Group H, while Tanzania played goalless with Ethiopia in Group F, and then Comoros and the Gambia settled for a 1-1 draw in Group A, and finally Libya played a 1-1 draw with Rwanda in Group D. In today's schedule, Malawi will face Burundi, Central African Republic versus Lesotho, Congo versus South Sudan, Ghana versus Angola, Guinea-Bissau and Eswatini, Algeria versus Equatorial Guinea, and Tunisia versus Madagascar. Let's do some international stories. Suspected Boko Haram Islamist militant launched a brutal attack on the northeastern Nigerian village, killing at least 37 people and injuring many more. The attack occurred on Yubo State Mafa village, where the militants rode in motorcycles, opened fire on the market, and set shops and homes ablaze. According to local authorities, the attack appears to be a revenge strike for the killing of 2 suspected Boko Haram fighters by local vigilantes. Boko Haram, an Islamist extremist group, has been waging a 14-year insurgency in northeastern Nigeria, resulting in the over 40,000 people and displacing more than 2 billion and others. Now let's do some entertainment. The National Commission on Culture has condemned the growing trend of cross-dressing among male content creators in Ghana, calling it an affront to nations' cultural and moral values. The issue escalated after a male influencer appeared in female attire at a rich condos all-black party in Kumasi, sparking outrage. Deputy Executive Director of the NCCE, Dr. Richardson Common Fio, expressed concern, criticizing the justification of such acts in the name of content creation and modernity, stating they degrade Ghanaian traditions. Thanks for staying with us. Before we take a leave of you, let's do some headlines. The 2-day emergency meeting of Parliament has come to an end, but a number of government business remains unapproved. The opposition National Democratic Congress (NDC) seems not to allow the Electoral Commission to rest as it demands a live broadcast of a meeting with EC on voters' register. The Ghana Education Service and other entourage have paid a visit to the family of the deceased O'Reilly student who was stabbed on campus. And then in business, government has approved a 250 million loan agreement from the World Bank to support the Ghana Energy Sector Recovery Program. And then on international front, suspected Boko Haram deadly attack in Nigeria claims 37 civilians. Thanks for staying with us. On behalf of the crew, the team, we say thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the day. My name